And I totally agree with that quote from Jude Maris. Lewis Black performed at the White House, got told he couldn't swear, so he said he felt like a whore and a trained monkey. Lewis Black has a great way with words. So, yeah, so my day job as a IT contractor, I can earn a lot of money, so I don't have to feel the pressure to tone down or sell out. Besides, I don't know, I'm just in the mindset of I do what I do, and I don't really know how to be different. Like, oh, just that glass is empty. There's another bottle here, don't you worry about that. Yeah, see, Ashams, I'd love to go along with $50 to not swear for the rest of the show, but it's kind of on unconscious, and I would just slip up. So I would lose the $50 by accident, and yeah, but talking about changing, because you caught yourself before you said fuck to Grandpa. I still remember the first time I swore in front of my mum, and in fact my grandmother was there too. Twofer. I got a twofer. I remember the first time I swore in front of my mum and grandmother. I was home at Christmas one year. I'd left home, I was off at college, I was home for Christmas, and my older brother was being a dick. And I don't mean he was being mildly annoying, he was being a fucking idiot. And I ended up yelling at him, and I might have sworn at him at the top of my voice, but I know I was yelling at him, and that made my mum and grandmother come out, because I was outside, and they sort of said, what's going on? And I just went, look, just, you know, he's just being a jerk, leave me alone. And they said, they're sort of telling me to settle down, and I said, I'll settle down as soon as he stops being a fucking moron! And then I realised I'd just sworn in front of them. See you, Nick. It was a funny moment. It just sort of burst out. I was being really calm, just going, I don't have a problem. He's been a problem. And I'll calm down as soon as he stops being a fucking moron. And I didn't get smacked because I was about 20 at the time. So I did not swear in front of my mum or grandmother until I was about 20. So, oh, but I tell you what, the first time I almost swore in front of my mother, because I used to do, I don't know if people have noticed in my videos and comments too, I have a bit of a way with words, and I used to do, you know, articulate insults to my siblings. I didn't just say piss off. I would do, you know, multiple syllables in my insults, you know, call them, you know, brain-dead festering weasels or something. And my mother once said that what I say was worse than swearing, because it was like said with such venom when I said it. And when she said that, I was this close, it almost came out, it sort of stopped at the back of my throat. I clenched my teeth, but I almost said to her, yeah, well, next time I'll just call him a fucking cunt and be done with it. That would not have gone well, because I was only about 14 or 15 at the time, and that would not have gone well if I'd have said that. Would have been a straight into a wall. Yeah, no, my dad would have just bang if I'd done that, so. Yes, grandpas are like that with their granddaughters, Crimson Rain. You're just going to have to come to terms with that. Amki. How is that going to help grades? Screaming at a teacher. How am I getting a fucking B? Oh dear God. Oh, Philip, I'm very different compared to my family too, but they still talk to me. Oh dear. Yes, I come from a large family. I am one of 10 children, and I'm very different to the rest of them. I'm the only one living in a big city for a start. Why did I start to use YouTube? Oh, also tennis, Justin. You asked me if I played tennis. I remember that zipping by. No, I'm shit at all sport. Definitely nothing that requires coordination like tennis. Maybe on the Wii. Why did I start to do YouTube videos? The old question. Okay, about 3 years ago, I started a written blog, and the idea is I was sick of not doing anything creative, and I've always liked performing, and I was thinking of doing stand-up comedy, and my written blog was going to be testing out material that I might be able to use for stand-up, and it was going quite well, and some of my blog readers suggested I podcast, like do audio recordings of some of my blog stuff. They said that would be good, and but then I got broadband internet at home, and YouTube was just starting to take off. This was almost 3 years ago, and I thought, hey, why not leapfrog? Because I was thinking of doing stand-up, so I thought, oh, well, I'll do funny stuff to camera, and that will practice me for doing stand-up. And basically, YouTube's gone far better than stand-up ever could have done. So I thought, fuck the idea of doing stand-up, and I just do stuff on YouTube. And that's how I got on YouTube. I do have a lot of friends who do stand-up. And if they got 20 people to a show, they would think that was doing all right. And I said, like, if I tell them, if I just whack a video up, it'll get viewed a couple thousand times and I'll get direct feedback from hundreds of people. How does that make you feel? It makes them feel angry and they want to punch me. And how did I get to know Mr. Safety? Just because in the early days of YouTube, about 2.5 years ago, before YouTube was completely overwhelmed with huge numbers of people, I did some video responses to videos Mr. Safety had put up, and he liked them, and we got to know each other through that. In fact, I was the first person Mr. Safety subscribed to on YouTube. Beat that. You can't. It's impossible to beat that. So, it's way harder to get to know people on YouTube now, but it's still possible. It's just harder than it used to be. But it's just by doing stuff. That's why when people say to me, oh, well, how do I get noticed on YouTube? You've just got to be active. You've got to comment on other people's videos. You've got to get to know other people. You've got to do video responses. You've got to do topical ones. And it's harder than it used to be. It's a long, hard road, and you've got to be prepared for disappointment. If you expect stuff to happen overnight, you're just going to get really frustrated. Like when people say, how do I get famous? My first thing I want to say is fuck off. Don't worry about famous. Get good. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever style it is you want to do, just get good at it. If it's music, if it's comedy, if it's personal video making, just get good at it. The amount of people who seem to think there's some magic way to make things come their way, it's just bullshit. You've just got to work at it. Like Philip Newman saying there, just keep doing it. You do have to earn it. The number of people who think being famous is a right, they're just waiting to be famous. Yeah, it's just like, oh, fuck off, honestly. Yeah.